We now have what looks to be the final trailer for Godzilla x Kong, and in it, we have some pretty interesting reveals and a lot of new footage, even though the footage is very much chopped up. So greetings again, Heralds of the Titans, and let's go ahead and break down the brand new trailer for Godzilla x Kong, as the film itself now is just over 2 weeks away. The footage begins with our journey on the MonsterVerse thus far, really giving the impression that this is the final film. However, we do have confirmation from Legendary that there is at least one more movie planned after Godzilla x Kong, and hopefully there'll be even more, as I need to see my boy Destroya, as well as would love to see Space Godzilla and maybe King Ghidorah yet again in the future. I am very much of the opinion that Destroya should end the MonsterVerse, but that's a topic for another day. In terms of new footage, in the beginning we don't get very much. However, we do get cobbled together footage of Godzilla's final transformation into his brand new pink, leaner, larger form. It's clear that this is a type of energy that Godzilla has prior knowledge of, and he's feeding upon it to gear up to face a threat that he believes is beyond anything that he's battled before. That, of course, being the ice titan known as Terminus Shimo, who many have theorized has been an offshoot of the Gojira species that has been held captive by the Titanus Kong for generations now. Godzilla absorbing this brand new energy though is his trump card, and it is a different form of energy than that Shimo wields. In direct opposition, in fact. We know that Godzilla's main goal over the course of the film, or the first half of the film, is to absorb as much energy as possible. First going to nuclear power plants, but eventually venturing into the hollow earth itself to absorb a power that could pose to be very dangerous. This version of Godzilla is more dangerous and aggressive than any other version of the character that we've seen before, and this goes into the legend of what began the ancient Titanus Kong versus Gojira war, was that there was a member of Gojira's species that was said to have eaten a star, but this is said to be more metaphorical than anything else. That star was energy though. Untamed energy, and that energy caused this Gojira to not only gain the ability to fly, but also drove him insane. But it was believed to be this singular event that would kick off the Titan War between the Gojira and the Kong. But first, they would unite. This could in fact be the same energy that our Godzilla is now absorbing, indicating why he's far more aggressive. But hopefully this will be a plotline that is continued into later MonsterVerse films, and the consequences of Godzilla's actions are explored beyond GEXK. Our next big shot is a battle sequence between Shimo and Godzilla, with this being one of the first official times that we've seen Shimo. There are leaks out there that explain exactly how the Scar King is controlling this ancient titan, and that Shimo is very much against her own will fighting Godzilla and Kong under the manipulation of the Scar King. But something that I want to touch upon here is the sheer scale of Shimo. Shimo is an ancient kaiju that fights on all fours. Although there has been promotional material that indicates that Shimo is capable of standing on 2 limbs, she predominantly will fight on 4. And next to this leaner, but admittedly slightly larger Godzilla, she appears to be roughly twice his size, making her one of the biggest titans that we've seen in the MonsterVerse, and one that rivals the size and sheer mass of Ghidorah. With that being a major topic among the fanbase right now, is Shimo actually larger than Ghidorah was in King of the Monsters? What's clear here though is that they're very close. What we'll need to get a better idea of is how much bigger Godzilla has actually become. It's clear that the energy has made him much more lean and aggressive, but what about his sheer mass? That's something we'll get a really good look at when the film itself comes out. We then get some more footage of the final battle, where Kong actually manages to throw the Scar King towards Godzilla, who then hits him with his tail. But with this shot, we also get another transformation that Godzilla has underwent. That being that his dorsal plates have gone even farther down his tail, and now Godzilla actually has spikes on his tail akin to that of a Stegosaurus. And it's clear that this leaner Godzilla is using this new weaponry to his advantage, giving him spikes on one of his more prominent ranged attacks, with Godzilla's tail being one of his most powerful strikes when at a medium distance. Following this in the trailer, we get something that's very compelling. That being another member of Titanus Kong actually chasing Kong throughout the Hollow Earth. As we can see here, Kong is holding his right arm, which means he's already had an interaction with Shimo, and presumably, his axe with the dorsal plate of a Gojira has been destroyed by the ancient titan. We can see that there is frost damage on Kong's right arm, and this is before he receives an enhancement, presumably from help from Monarch. But what's even more compelling than all of this is the Kong in the background is actually wielding a knife. This adds precedence to exactly why the Titanis Kong are so dangerous, specifically towards the Gojira, that being their sheer intelligence and ability to create weaponry. We know that Kong's axe in Godzilla vs. Kong very much served to even the playing field between Godzilla and Kong, and now we see that this is not unique to the past versions of the Kong, and that not only does Scar King have a whip of his own, but also the other members of the Kong species. Another interesting thing that I noted about this scene is the Kong that is chasing our own Kong actually has some red face paint on, paint in coloration directly with the Scar King, likely showing his allegiance to his alpha being the Scar King himself. But now I would like to talk about a little bit of a leak. In a leaked image, we actually got our first full reveal of Shimo. For obvious reasons, I cannot show you the image here, but you can find it on the internet if you look. What's compelling though, it appears as if Shimo has been stuck in the neck by various vertebrae of different titans. This is important because the Scar King's whip is actually made of the vertebrae of other titans as well, but what is on the top of the whip appears to be a sort of blue crystal, and it is this crystal that we believe that the Scar King is using to manipulate Shimo. This is even more compelling in the precedence of this trailer because we actively see the Scar King wielding this whip and this crystal at the very end of this brand new trailer, pointing Shimo in the direction that the Scar King wants to lead him. It's very clear now that Shimo is under the control of the Scar King, and whatever energy he has and he's mastered is in stark contrast to the energy that Godzilla now possesses. The appearance of Shimo and the Scar King is very compelling, especially since we recently learned that they were both able to stave off the effects of the Alpha Call of King Ghidorah, and that these two alphas of their own have been reigning in the Hollow Kingdom until they put out a challenge to Godzilla and Kong. But with that, what were some of the highlights in this brand new trailer that you saw? I honestly thought it was really impressive how much footage they shoved in about a span of 45 seconds, with them including more scenes of Godzilla's transformation, a better look at Shimo and her sheer size, how the Scar King is controlling Shimo, as well as a battle between Kong and another member of his species in allegiance with the Scar King. But now, my friends, I want to hear what you have to say. What are your thoughts on this brand new, likely final trailer for Godzilla x Kong? Do you think that Scar King is using this crystal to control Shimo? And what do you think will be the later consequences of Godzilla absorbing this new form of energy? Subscribe to the channel for more Godzilla x Kong kaiju content, and we'll hopefully see you guys in another video shortly.